We'll start with Bills-Broncos. Let me pull it up quick on my screen and pull it up here. We'll just start to go through it. So since we talked about this one on Tuesday, the Broncos have now kind of firmly – oh, man, this one is all over the place. That's crazy. Yeah, this is actually going to be kind of fun. It was -1.5 Broncos favor for the most part across the board here. Oh yeah, this is really exciting. But anyway, we'll talk about it anyway as we go through it. But over under is at looks like 46 now for the highest, with our model actually finally giving a little lean towards that. It was 45.5, 50-50. At 46, the model does favor it at 51.2%. No value. But, it's kind of, as we'll see with a few of these games, sometimes that half point on a spread or a total really impacts the model pretty significantly. More so, I think, with a spread and a key number, but we'll talk about all that. And then the Broncos still moneyline favorites at 56% with the best edge in this game, 2.8%. But yeah, so this has been a really interesting one. This moved from Bills -1.5. Now it looks like you can get the Broncos at a pick 'em. It was Broncos -1, -1.5 earlier today. So lots of movement and stuff going on with this one, which is not totally surprising, as we kind of talked about it being a little bit surprising in itself that the Bills were favored -1.5 and it didn't settle for the Broncos as home favorites. But model has moved kind of in line with this, previously giving the Broncos just a 55% probability. Now just 53.6% with the shorter number. When they were favored at -1.5, it was just 50%. So it's going to be a really close one if the model's projections are any indication. The total has kind of hovered around from 46.5 to 45.5, depending where you look. And now we finally have a slight lean on the model, a little shorter than it was at opening, 46.5. But if you like the under, you'll take the 46 over 45.5 any day, really. No value in either line, so to speak. About fair odds here on the spread at this particular number anyway. And as mentioned, the Broncos with a little money line value. So some kind of interesting stuff early on with this one, without even diving into the game too much. Probably the most movement we've seen out of any of these 4 games so far.
Yeah, this one's all over the place, which I guess makes sense. This is probably the most up for debate who's going to win this game, I think, of the divisional round. So I'm not surprised to see a bunch of movement. I'm not surprised to see a bunch of slight edges depending on the key number that you're trying to hone in on here. But I don't know. Where do you personally sit in terms of your own approach to this game?
Well, I already like the under anyway. The spread, I think, is a total mess. Like it's a hard one for me to handicap or really even pick a side. Really, what you have to do, I think, when it's this close is, the model giving a major lean. I mean, obviously, it likes the Broncos, so if you can get the Broncos as an underdog, even if it's plus a half a point on a pick 'em, that's obviously the better side to be on per the model, rather than having to bet them as a favorite. But even when we were looking at it the other day, it was practically the same money line odds on both sides. I like the under. It's something I've got down here, in the notes as far as my personal leans in this. Like if I'm picking this game, I feel like it's going to be the Broncos. We talked about a lot of the injury stuff with the Bills. Looks like Jordan Poyer is probably definitely going to be out. Definitely. He didn't practice on Wednesday after aggravating that hamstring injury. Sean McDermott's called him week to week, so they're going to be hurting there in the secondary. Going to get a little bit of reinforcements wide receiver wise with Curtis Samuel coming off IR, but like how much that really helps this Bills wide receiver room, I don't know. And for the Broncos, it couldn't be more opposite. Like pretty much a clean bill of health. Dre Greenlaw listed as limited, but he's probably on track to play, it seems like, which will be a big boost for the Broncos rushing defense, regardless of what Sean Payton wants to say, which is already among the best anyway in the NFL. So, a long-winded way of me saying I'm really feeling the under in this game. Broncos defense is so good, healthy, rested. They could sustain long drives on the ground, probably wear down the Bills defense. So regardless of what side you're on, money line or spread, I definitely like the under. My personal prediction would be 24-20 Broncos in this one.
Okay. I'm still looking for creative angles here. I don't want any part of money line or spread bets in this game. In my bracket challenge, I do have the Bills winning this game, so I guess that would be my rooting interest. Maybe that's why I'm so hesitant to give in to the model's edge to the Broncos. I agree with you on the lean with the under. I agree with the model on a lean to the under, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still I'm scrolling through the DraftKings app right now, like looking for the creative ways to bet like a back and forth game. I might discover one in the next 30 seconds. What props are you looking at?
Yeah. So I think there's going to be a lot of rushing. Like the game's going to hinge on that for the most part. But could be a long day for the Bills in that regard. They really struggled to get James Cook going against the Jaguars rushing defense, which is the only one that was better than Denver this year. Only 2 teams allowed fewer rushing TDs than Denver. So we've got Cook for 82 yards, but his line's 73.5. So if you're going just by the projection, that's a solid bet. 80 plus at plus 117 on DraftKings last I looked. Pretty appealing. But personally, I just think if he doesn't break a long run, it might be hard for him to kind of just chip away at that. If the Broncos get up, and I don't think they'll get up big points, but if they are, they're going to be able to contain and funnel this Bills offense into exactly the game plan they want. Only one player hit more than 70 rushing yards versus Denver this whole season. It was Jonathan Taylor with 165 back in week 2 when he was, offensive player of the year for 5 weeks. And on the flip side, the Bills rushing defense is really bad. Struggled once again last week, 154 total yards allowed to the Jaguars in the wild card, which is basically their season average. So they were not even a lick better in the playoffs. All chunk plays, 5.2 yards per carry for at the lowest for all of Trevor Lawrence, Bashaw Tutin, and Travis Etienne. So it was, it just could not match up, I think, worse for these two teams as far as the run game in regards to Buffalo. So I think it's going to be a lot of running here, probably not to James Cook's benefit, but volume wise, he's probably going to get a lot of work. I just don't know if he's going to be able to chip away at that total. RJ Harvey, let me check the props here. So we actually had a little value on his under yards. He's 56.5 rushing yards, 59%, but projection is 54.6. So it's not like really significant of a discrepancy for me to really get behind. Little too close for me. I actually kind of personally do like him in this game and actually look for him for some first quarter yards. The Jags really went after the Bills on the ground early last week. Runs of 12, 13, 14, and 20 yards in the first quarter, all on one drive that ended in a score. You can get just shy of even money for 15 plus on Harvey in the first quarter. I think definitely worth a look at some of those lines. And then still in regards to the running game, the quarterbacks obviously both decently mobile and both are projected for plus money value with their yards. Josh Allen at 40, Bo Nix at 27. Allen's plus money is 40 plus. Bo Nix is 25 plus. So definitely a lot of run game. Receiving stuff I don't really like a lot here. You get the jumbled Bills wide receivers against a really good passing defense. The Bills passing defense is good too. They did give up 3 passing touchdowns last week, but aside from Parker Washington, who had a pretty good game, 107 yards, there was no passing production in the Jaguars offense. So yeah, I don't know if there's someone who's going to replicate that game. It's Troy Franklin or Pat Bryant, but good luck picking them. I really don't know who it's going to be. They got low projections from the model. So
yeah. I feel like if you're going receiving props in this game, you almost have to just play the long shots, especially given the state of the Bills receivers room right now. Which is not inspiring, by the way. I had a couple Brandon Cooks props last week, and he was definitely the wide receiver too. And other than one big catch late, it was not a lot of looking his way and still in and out. They run so many jumbo sets and bring in, 3 tight ends on plays around the red zone and honestly just trudge forward with Josh Allen. I think from a prop perspective, I definitely just want a piece of Josh Allen in this game, whether it's on the ground with yards or even just to find the end zone himself. I feel like they've leaned on that in big game settings. I think, he was kind of the epitome of their red zone offense last week. It was just, we're going to keep rushing him forward and he's too big and too strong. That sneak late in the game was such a huge play. So that's what I'm after. I also did find my creative way to play this. So, given that the model sees this being a very close game, we see it being a very close game. I think there's a couple different ways to play that are available on DraftKings and presumably other sportsbook apps as well. I see a market for largest lead of the game under 14.5. I really like that. I also really like either team to score 3 unanswered times. No, at plus 115. I think this is going to be a very back and forth, low scoring game. And I just will be shocked if there's ever really a moment where a team creates a larger than 2 touchdown separation.
I think those are really good spots. The 14.5 largest lead. That's like the normal line. What are the odds on that?
Minus 135. No. So you are laying a little juice, but
yeah.
I don't even hate that. I really think this is going to be a 1 possession game throughout.
Yeah, no, I don't really see any team with the length that these drives are going to be, the probably willingness to go for field goals rather than go for it in close, not close like yardage wise, but debatable situations. Yeah, and that's gonna, anytime a team scores, it obviously resets the 3 unanswered times. So all you need is a field goal to keep that in play. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I like that. Yeah, touchdown value, not a whole lot here. It's pretty much all long shots. Brandon Cooks was in here before. He's gone now. I don't know if that's because the odds moved or probability has changed. Probably the former. Ty Johnson, I'm not even sure if you want to bet a long shot, that's fine. But if it's not James Cook at the goal line, it's gonna be Josh Allen. You're really betting on an unlikely scenario. And Jaleel McLaughlin, a little bit more interesting. He's had some volume lately, but only 1 red zone carry over his final 3 games. And RJ Harvey, who isn't the most efficient runner, still is getting all the scoring equity. So yeah, no one really I'm loving outside those top options like Josh Allen, RJ Harvey, and the like.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that tracks with everything we're saying here.